Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable George Ibezimako Ozodinobi. I represent the good people of Njikoka and Ocha, Dunukofia Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State. I have a petition here, and the petitioner was a two-time member of this House with a PhD, Professor Jerry Sonny Ugokwe. His petition is against the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and its committee for wrongfully removing his name on the list of possible nominees as ambassadors on the basis of a matter that has long been resolved by the same ministry in his favor. I want to, in order not to waste our time, I want to have the leave of this House to lay the petition, Mr. Speaker.
Please go ahead. Any more petitions? Yes, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues. My name is Architect Dr. Austin Asema Achado. I have a petition from Mrs. Chioda Juliana Dauphin, a staff of Lower Benue River Development Authority. He was terminated from service in 2017 for no justifiable reason. I hereby tender this petition before this Honorable House. Mr. Speaker.
Please go ahead. Any more petitions? Yes, Honorable Jalo.
Right Honorable Speaker, sir, I'm Hussein Mohammed Jalo, representing the Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. My petition is signed by one MMC Oko and Associates, legal practitioners, human rights activists, and property consultants. The petition is against one Dr. Osotuma Ozubike Victor, Mr. One Christopher Patrick, Mr. Utomi Pilton Kanayo, Mr. Sunday Emmanuel Kedo, Mrs. Nwabuzezwe Rejato, Mr. Peter Okolo. It's an appeal against unjust treatment, abuse of office, and criminal acts of conspiracy at the Federal Medical Center, MCC, Asaba Delta State. We act as a solicitors to Dr. Oboto Odoji Guspe, PhD. On behalf of this fellow, may I seek the indulgence of the Honorable Speaker and the House to lay this petition, sir. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Thank you.
Any more petitions? All petitions are referred to the Committee on Public Petitions for further legislative action. Honorable colleagues, it's my pleasure to invite Honorable Evan David Agada Ogeu, who has a motion to present. Please, can you rise up and present your motion?
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Ogel David Agada, member representing Oju of the Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm from Benue State, the food basket of the nation and a proud Igede son. I rise this morning relying on Order 8, Rule 5, to move a motion on matter of urgent public importance on the need for intervention in the security and flood disaster in some affected areas in my federal constituency. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to the first leg? Honorable Amobi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, my name remains Honorable Amobi Godwin Oga, I represent Nigeria through the good people of Isukwato and Umunnochi Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second this motion, ably moved by my brother. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. The second leg, Honorable Jafaru.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name remains Honorable Jafaru Yakubu. I represent the good people of Bali, Gasol, Federal Constituency, Taraba State. I stand this morning to second the second leg of the motion. I believe move my dear honorable colleague from Benue State. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. Honorable David, please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, once again, I remain Ogoja David Agada, member representing Oju Obi Federal Constituency. I'm from Benue State, the food basket of the nation. Mr. Speaker, I'm an Igede-born, third majority tribe in Benue State. I rise this morning to move this motion on matter of urgent public importance on the need for intervention in the security and flood disaster in some affected area in my federal constituency. The House knows that Section 14, subsection 2B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, provides that the security, safety, and welfare of the people of our great country, Nigeria, shall be the primary purpose of government. Recall that sometime in July 2024, I raised a motion about Ubaja, Ubatwe, and Omanjobo communities of Konshisha local government area, which has been engaged in communal crisis, wherein plantaro of people were killed and rendered homeless in Okpene, Ogleo, in Mankodi community of Oju local government area of Benue State. Consequent upon land dispute, the crisis have displaced most people and properties worth hundreds of millions naira were destroyed. Also recall that on the 5th of July 2024, the same communities, both in Oju local government and Konshisha local government, had this dispute that lead to destroy of lives and properties again. Particularly, it has to do with this disagreement to this same boundary demarcation that led to the loss of lives and properties. On the 10th of July 2024, another Upute man was killed by Bonta militia while working in his farm. Furthermore, this has continued unabatedly, attacking on those both side community on several occasions. This age-long crisis is as a result of the inaction of the relevant federal and state agencies to adopt and enforce the existing boundary demarcation survey/document with file number Otupo sheet 270XE as conducted by the Savior General of the Federation and domiciled with the Kaduna office of the National Boundary Commission. Worried that sometime in August as well, a truck of fertilizer meant for the constituency Ojuobi was also blocked and sneakily seized by the Bonta militia. As a matter of fact, the Oju Awaji Road connecting Constitution and Oju local government area of Benue State is at the moment impassable and impervious due to the garrison of Bonta militia. Also, this crisis and insecurity bordered on land dispute, which has to do with the boundary demarcation. And that if the relevant authority concerning the boundary demarcation do not take frantic effort and how these disputed areas boundary demarcated in line with the existing order and laws. The recurring clashes between these communities will continue unabated and lead to further loss of lives and properties. Recall that some time ago, these same militias at Bonta killed about 12 soldiers. This need not to be handled with kid gloves anymore for the sake of the two affected communities in the two various local governments. Also worried that as a result of the heavy downpour and deluge at Otakini Ainu community of Oju local government area of Benue State, it engulfed with a very devastating flood, which washed away farmland, road, and houses. As it stands, the road connecting the densely populated people of Otakini, Ekpong, Oyongo, Achomba, of Oju and Obi local government areas of Benue State is impassable. The community are submerged in the flood, leading to untold loss of lives and properties. The survivors are homeless and in dire need of food and shelter. Concerned that all these crises and flood disasters have caused untold hardship on the victims who are passing through lots without shelter and food or means of livelihood, as they are predominantly farmers. As it stands, most of the victims are dying already as a result of this exposure to unfavorable weather and starvation. The aggravated aftermath of this crisis and flood disaster is that many people have lost their lives and properties worth millions of naira have also been lost. They have resolved to observe a minute silence for those who lost their lives. Urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to assist in providing the people with relief materials to cushion the effect of the crisis and flood disaster, as many are already dying of starvation. To beef up security in the local government area, especially affected communities, and combine security that has to do with the army, the police, the DSS, and the civil defense operation, base to be established between the two communities of Oju and Konshisha local government areas of Benue State with constant security patrol around the affected area. Mandate the National Boundary Commission in conjunction with the relevant agencies in Benue State to resolve the instant crisis with finality by demarcating the boundary between the two communities of Bonta and Ukute, in line with the original boundary demarcated / Soviet document domicile with Kaduna Office of the National Boundary Commission as conducted by the Surveyor General of the Federation. We find number Otupo sheet 270XC, federal government should monitor this process by deploying security personnel to ensure the smooth boundary demarcation exercise and safety of the people. I so move, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues.
Any seconder? The Chairman Committee on Motion Movers? Urgent matters, sorry. Urgent matters of public importance. So please, second.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker. It's a great honor. Nnamdi Ezechi is my name, honorable colleagues, and I represent Ndokwa Kwani Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Delta State. I stand here this morning to second the very, very important motion ably moved by my dear brother, Honorable David. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on National Emergency and Disaster Preparedness and Special Duties for further legislative action. The next motion is coming from Honorable Engineer Anayo B. Onowebu. If Honorable is around, please can you rise and move your motion? Sorry. Please, shall we rise for a minute silence? May their soul rest in peace. Is the Honorable Engineer Amayo around? Is he? No? Okay. The next motion is coming from Honorable Tesir Ubo. Please go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name remains Honorable Tese Ubo. I represent Kwande Ushongo Federal Constituency of Benue State. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to move a motion of urgent national importance on the need to address the massive flooding, destruction of farmlands, and damage to major federal roads in Benue State. I come under 8 Rule 6 that I be allowed to move this motion of urgent national importance, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Any seconder to the first leg? Doctor.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you. Yes, my colleagues, Honorable Dr. Wale Ahmed. I represent both the good and the good people of Agege Federal Constituency. I'm from Lagos State. I'm happy to second the motion as moved by my honorable colleague. Thank you, sir.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. The second leg of the motion. Any seconder? Honorable Galambe.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Yusuf Galambi. I stand to support the motion as ably moved by honorable colleague. Mr. Speaker, I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. Honorable Tesser, please make it brief.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this motion is on the urgent need to address the massive flooding challenge we have in Benue, destruction of farmlands, and the damage to major federal roads in Benue State, leading to suffering, loss of livelihoods, and loss of lives in Benue State. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that the incidence of flooding caused by the overflowing of the River Benue has become an annual event. The massive destruction of farmlands, displacements of thousands of persons, and the destruction and wipeout of major roads in Benue State has become a national emergency we cannot continue to ignore. The House notes, Mr. Speaker, that the road linking Uboma, Boko, Uboma, Kwande, Kashimbila, down to Cameroon is a very important road for regional trade and transit in Nigeria and serves as a crucial link between 8 local governments, including Buruku, Kwande, Ushongo, Logo, Katsina-Ala, Ukum, Vandikia, and Konshisha local governments of Benue State. It is not only significant for local trade, Mr. Speaker, it is very significant for international trade and also connects us to neighboring states like Taraba and Cross River, further extending our reach to the international boundaries with Cameroon. The House notes that the current state of the Boko-Uboma Kwande Road is alarming. Conditions on this low road, Mr. Speaker, have become increasingly unbearable, transforming it into a death trap for motorists and travelers. The dilapidated state of the road, Mr. Speaker, has resulted in annual armed robbery attacks of innocent travelers and extended travel times on the roads, with motorists spending over a week just to navigate through those treacherous conditions. The House further notes, Mr. Speaker, that the implications extend beyond mere inconvenience. The ongoing deterioration of this road has severely impacted livelihoods of our farmers, who rely on this route to transport their perishable goods to markets. Many have faced devastating losses. Their harvests have perished while they attempt to navigate this unsafe passage. The loss of lives and goods due to this flooding and infrastructural neglect is a tragic reality that cannot be ignored. The House observes, finally, Mr. Speaker, that the road in context was earmarked for rehabilitation in the supplementary budget of the federal government of Nigeria, allocated under the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, but has unfortunately been abandoned with no potential or visible attempts to reform and rebuild this road before the high traffic of the festive season. The House therefore resolves, Mr. Speaker, to urge the Federal Ministry of Works and the Federal Emergency Road Management Agency, FEMA, to immediately commence repairs on this failed portion of the road to ease the movement of people, especially during the high traffic festive season before us. We also invite, Mr. Speaker, the FEMA, the Federal Emergency Road Management Agency, to explain the contract award for this road, including other ongoing roads that need urgent repairs before the high traffic travel of the festive season, and also to urge the Committee of Works and the Committee on FEMA to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Right Honorable Regina.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished Speaker, Speaker who is women-friendly, my distinguished and dear colleagues, my name is Regina Akume, representing Bokotaka constituency. I'm from Benue State. I rise to second the motion moved by my dear colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Works and FEMA for further legislative action. Honorable members, the business of the day is presentation of 20 bills. I'll now invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Federal College of Entrepreneurship and Skills Acquisition, Howell, Local Government Area, Borno State, Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal College of Fisheries and Apiculture, Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Anti-Gas Flaring Prohibition and Enforcement Bill 2024, first reading. Armed Forces Farms and Ranches Scheme Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal College of Entrepreneurship and Skill Acquisition, Maiduguri, Borno State, Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. National Institute of Hepatitis Research and Treatment, Kachia, Kaduna State, Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, sixth alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, sixth alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, sixth alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, sixth alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, sixth alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Compulsory Retirement and Care for Victims of Gunshots Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Acts Authentication Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. National Human Rights Commission Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Armed Forces Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal College of Agriculture and Technology, Okeogun, Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Capital Territory Directorate of Road Traffic and Motor Vehicle Administration Service Bill 2024, first reading.
The first order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to create a new state in the South-South region of Nigeria known as Ogoja State, and for related matters. Standing in the names of Honorable Godwin Ofiano and 3 other honorable members. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. I'll now invite Honorable Ofiano to move that the bill be read a second time. Honorable Ofiano? Is he around?
Our amiable speaker, very dear honorable colleagues, I am Honorable Godwin Ofiano. I represent Ogoja Ayala Federal Constituency. I'm from Cross River State. Mr. Speaker, dear honorable colleagues, I rise to move a motion on a bill for an act to alter the relevant provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to create a new state in the South-South region of Nigeria to be known as Ogoja State, and for related matters. Mr. Speaker, I call that this bill be read for the second time. I so move.
Any seconder? My dear sister, you know they have just, Honorable Regina said I'm women friendly, female friendly. I need to recognize as many women as possible today, just to confirm what she said.
Our dear Speaker, sir, our father, honorable colleagues, I am Blessing Chigeru Amadi, representing the good people of Port Harcourt, River State, and the Kwere woman. I hereby second the motion ably moved by my learned colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Honorable Ofiano, do you still want to say 1 or 2 words? Because your bill is a very straightforward one. I'm sure there is nobody here who is against.
Very briefly, Mr. Speaker. The essence of this bill, Mr. Speaker, is rested on the principle of equity, which of course is a substantum of the existence of the Nigerian state in the light of the multifaceted challenges we face. Mr. Speaker, on that note, I will enjoin my very dear colleagues to support this bill to be read the second time. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. This bill is referred to, sorry, clerk.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended to create a new state in the South-South region of Nigeria known as Ogoja State, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Constitutional Review for further legislative action. The second order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish National Institute for Organic Agriculture and Food Safety Research, Olona North, Osikwato, Abia State, and for related matters. Standing in the names of Honorable Amobi Godwin Aga and three others. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 6 June 2024. I'll now invite Honorable Amobi Godwin Oga to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The speaking speaker of the 10th Assembly, my dear colleagues, my name remains Honorable Amobi Godwin Oga. I represent Nigeria through the good people of Isukwato and Umunnochi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to move a motion on a bill for an act to establish the National Institute for Organic Agriculture and Food Safety Research in Ulonna North Farm Settlement, Isukwato, Abia State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I stand to that this bill should read the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable, please second.
The People's Speaker, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, GCON. My name is Honorable Ambassador Peter Ifeanyi Uzokwe. I speak for the good people of Nnewi North, the Japanese capital of Nigeria, Nnewi South, and the Ekwusigo constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to support the motion ably moved by my in-law. My wife comes from Isukwato, so I will get the organic food raw. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. There is have it. Honorable Amobi, this is an establishment bill. It doesn't require too much debate. So with your kind permission, I will just put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. There is have it. Clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to establish National Institute of Organic Agriculture and Food Safety Research, Ulonna North, Isukwato, Abia State, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions for further legislative action. The third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend to make mandatory procurement, first option of locally made products, goods and services by government ministries and departments and agencies, make it mandatory for government ministries, departments and agencies to give priority to local manufacturers and indigenous companies in the procurement of goods, works, and services, prohibit the exclusion of local produce good in the procurement process, repeal the Local Content Act of 2010, and enact a bill to make it mandatory for ministries, departments, and agencies to give priority to local manufacturers and indigenous companies in the procurement of goods and services, and prohibit the exclusion of locally produced goods in the procurement process and for related matters. Standing in the names of Honorable Obi Agwacha, Honorable Namdi Izechi, and Honorable Jesse Okejoin, honorable members will recall that the bills were consolidated and read the first time on Tuesday, 8 October 2024. I now invite Honorable Agocha to move that the bill be read a second time.
Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, Mr. Speaker, my name remains Honorable Obi Agocha. I represent, Mr. Speaker, Iguano, Umuahia North, and Umuahia South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to move that a bill for an act to make mandatory procurement first option of locally made products, goods, and services by government ministries, departments, and agencies, make it mandatory for the government ministries and department of agencies to give priority local manufacturers and indigenous companies in the procurement of goods, works, and services, to prohibit the exclusion of locally produced goods in the procurement process, to repeal Local Content Act of 2010 and enact a bill to make it mandatory for ministries, departments, and agencies to give priority to local manufacturers, indigenous companies in the procurement of goods and services, and prohibit the exclusion of locally produced goods in the procurement process and for related matters. A consolidation, Mr. Speaker, of HB 85, HB 1007, and HB 1330. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Is Honorable Namdi Ezecha around?
Yes, Your Excellency.
Please, can you second?
Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Namdi Ezecha is my name. I rise here this morning to second the motion ably moved by my dear brother and leader. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. Honorable Ogoja, I give you 1 minute if you want to make further clarification on the bill. But you are at liberty to allow us to put the question.
Mr. Speaker, you are at liberty to put the question, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. So those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. The fourth order of the day, sorry, clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to make mandatory procurement first option of locally made products, goods and services by government ministries, departments, and agencies. Make it mandatory for government ministries, departments, and agencies to give priority to local manufacturers and indigenous companies in the procurement of goods, works, and services. Prohibit the exclusion of locally produced goods in the procurement process, repeal the Local Content Act of 2010, and enact a bill to make it mandatory for ministries, departments, and agencies to give priority to local manufacturers and indigenous companies in the procurement of goods and services, and prohibit the exclusion of locally produced goods in the procurement process and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring for further legislative action. The fourth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish jury trial and services for special crimes, corruption, and other offenses, and the administration of jury trials, criminal justice in the Federal High Court and FCT High Court Division, and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Pascal Abodike, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 26 July 2023. I will now invite Honorable Pascal to move that the bill be read a second time. Is Honorable Pascal on the floor? No? Bill step down by the leave of the House. Honorable Lambaruna, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, the speaking speaker. My dear colleagues, I'm Honorable Belisa Ambarura, member representing Gorba Elela Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I rise up to clear some issues on the issue that happened in the House yesterday, on the motion presented by Honorable Martins. And point of order was made to that effect from Honorable Kelechi. In that respect, I want to present this motion under the matter of personal explanation. Mr. Speaker, honorable members may wish to recall that yesterday, Wednesday, The 16th of October 2024, Honorable Kelechi raised a point of order on the motion on higher cancellation on flight cancellation and delays sponsored by Honorable Martins, where Honorable Kelechi's point of order was that he had recently taken a motion on the same subject matter about 3 months ago. Based on the point of order raised, the motion was stepped down. However, from the record, Mr. Speaker, of Committee on Rules and Business, it shows that the matter which Honorable Kelechi's claim to have taken was done on October the 25th, 2023, which it is more than or less than about a year ago now. In this respect, I wish to put it on record that the motion of Honorable Martins is in order, as it is on a different section from what in which Honorable Kelechi took his motion. Right, Honorable Speaker, Honorable members, I wish to appeal to Honorable members to allow Honorable Martins to conclude his motion. I so submit, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
Well, based on what you have mentioned, if it is true that a motion of this nature can be represented only after 12 months, 1 calendar year, I do not see how this motion still qualifies, because if you look at the date now, we are still not up to that date. So it's still not up to 12 months, 12 calendar months. And today, what is
Mr.
today's
Speaker,
date?
point
Or
of
yesterday's
order.
day when it... So can we now say, legally speaking, that we observe the 12-month calendar in between the two motions? Well, that is not how law works. That is not how law works. It has to be exactly or more than for it to qualify. So your personal explanation is noted. Thank you very much. I think we still stand by our previous decisions. Thank you.
Sir. Mr. Speaker, my name is Kingsley Chinda. I represent Tobiabo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, it will not be proper that elders are seated and a goat is tied to the stable and delivering. It's not proper. There are very senior ranking members here. The procedure that the Deputy Chairman of Business and Rules adopted is unknown to Parliament, sir. We have arrived at a resolution. If you have any quarrel with it, Deputy Chairman, Business and Rules, you bring a proper motion asking for recession of our resolution, and not the method you have adopted. So aside the fact that Mr. Speaker has ruled properly, it still behoves us to at least correct this impression so that we will keep learning. The procedure is unknown to Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader, for your contribution. So we make progress. The fifth order of the day is a motion on outstanding bill from preceding assembly, standing in the name of Honorable Francis E. Waeve. Honorable Ambarura is hereby invited to present on his behalf.
Once again, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Vel Isa Ambarura. I'm representing Gorba Ilela Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker, I rise up to present a motion on outstanding bills from preceding assembly for the consideration of the Honorable House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Rotimi.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Akitunde Rotimi Jr. I represent the good people of Ekiti North 1 Federal Constituency, comprising Ikole and Oye local governments. I rise, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, to second the motion. Thank you very much.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This bill is referred to the Committee of the Whole for further legislative action. The sixth order of the day is a motion on the need to construct embankment
Point of order,
around...
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the prayer of the motion was for the bill to be recommitted to the House Committee on Constitution Review, not to the Committee of the Whole.
Are you sure that is the prayer?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. It is based on Order 12, Rule 17, and Order 1, Rule 1-2. The combined effect of both orders, Mr. Speaker, and the prayer is that it be committed to the House Committee on Constitutional Review. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, sorry. So the bill is has to do with constitutional review, right?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. So we refer it to the Committee on Constitutional Review for further legislative action. Please, Secretariat, take note of that correction. Okay. The sixth order of the day is a motion on the need to construct embankment around Askune Bridge, Talata Mafara, Zamfara State, standing in the name of Honorable Isa Mohammed Anka. Honorable Anka is hereby invited to move the motion.
Thank you very much, esteemed Speaker, my colleagues. My name is Honorable Isa Muhammad Anka, representing Anka Talata Mafara constituency. I'm from Zamfara State. I stand here before the Honorable House to present a motion on the need to construct embankment around Askune Bridge in Talata Mafara local government of Zamfara State. The House is to note that the Askune Bridge is an important transportation link in Talata Mafara local government area of Zamfara State, connecting communities and facilities and facilitating economic activities in neighboring states, such as Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, and extra. Also notes that the bridge consistently experiences flooding during rainy seasons, disrupting traffic and posing safety risk to commuters, with the most recent flooding occurring during this year's rainy season. The House is aware of the need to rehabilitate the road top surface of the bridge and its environs in order to make it smooth, safe, and conducive for the road users. The House is also aware that the construction of embankment and ecological safeguards will help control water flow, prevent bridge submersion during the heavy rains, and improve infrastructure and connectivity in Talata Mafara, supporting economic and social development in the region. The House is cognizant of the need to construct an embankment on the Askune Bridge to prevent further flooding and collapse, ensure the safety of the bridge and the lives of the commuters, while also implementing ecological safeguards. My prayer, therefore, is that the House should resolve to urge the Ecological Office of the Federation to conduct a needs assessment of the affected bridge to ensure its safety from further flooding and potential collapse. Also to urge the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to conduct a needs assessment of the top surface of the bridge and its environs to ascertain a proper status and take necessary steps to rehabilitate the bridge. And mandate the Committees on Ecological Fund and FEMA to ensure proper oversight and follow-up with the Ecological Office of the Federation and FEMA, and report within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Also mandate the Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance. I so move, sir. Thank you very much.
Honorable Jimmy Benson, can you second this motion? Honorable Item is saying that you should also mention the subject matter before you second, so that we know that you know what you are seconding.
Right, Honorable Speaker, the Ian Zazao, a man of peace, a man of justice, a man that is so friendly to North Africa. Honorable colleagues, I remain Baba Jimmy Benson, representing the good people of Ikorodu Federal Constituency. I stand, Mr. Speaker, to second this motion, ably moved by my good friend. The subject matter has to do with the need to construct the embankment around Askune Bridge in Zamfara. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. Ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Ecological Fund and Federal Road Maintenance Agency for further legislative action. The seventh order of the day is a motion on the need to review the budgetary allocation of the Bureau of Public Procurement, standing in the name of Honorable Oyime Idem. Honorable Idem is hereby invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. My name is Idem Unyime, member representing Ukanafun, Orowanam Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that on the need to review budgetary allocation of the Bureau of Public Procurement, the House notes the need for the attainment of transparency, competitiveness, cost-effectiveness, value for money, and professionalism in the public sector procurement system. Also notes that the Public Procurement Act 2007 established Bureau of Public Procurement as the regulatory authority responsible for the monitoring and oversight of public procurement, harmonizing the existing government policies and practices by regulating, setting standards, and developing the legal framework and professional capacity for public procurement in Nigeria. Further notes that the Bureau is empowered to, among other things, oversight over 800 ministries, departments, and agencies, MDS, to ensure the implementation of established procurement policies and due process compliance, recognizes the need to ensure monitoring and surveillance of federal government procurement procedures and ongoing projects across the 6 geopolitical zones. Aware that the budget allocation for the Bureau in the Appropriation Act 2024 is only 2 billion naira, 2.2 billion naira. Concerned that the existing funds provided for the Bureau is grossly
Honorable
inadequate.
Obi.
Is grossly inadequate to meet the extensive responsibility of the procurement audits, monitoring and surveillance in the ministry, departments, and agencies, MDS, in the 6 geopolitical zones of the nation. Also concerned that given the prevailing trend of procurement corruption in Nigeria, constituting over 70% of corruption in the public procurement sector, there is an increasing need to ensure the implementation of procurement policies and due process compliance in line with global best practices. Cognizant that the increasing rates of procurement corruption in the public sector necessitates urgent measures for effective oversight to ensure value for money, transparency, competitiveness, and professionalism, the House resolved to urge the federal government through the Ministry of Budget Economic Planning to review the budgetary allocation for the Bureau of Public Procurement in line with current realities in subsequent budget estimates to enable successful discharge of the Bureau's core mandates. 2, also urge the Bureau of Public Procurement to collaborate with relevant stakeholders, including ministries, department agencies, civil society organizations, and the National Assembly to enhance the provision of a legal institutional framework and professional capacity for public procurement in Nigeria for holistic development of our beloved country. Mandate the committees on public procurement and appropriations to follow up and ensure upward review of the Bureau's budgetary allocation in subsequent budget estimates. And lastly, also mandate the Committee on Public Procurement to conduct a thorough oversight and recommend appropriate measures that will enhance the effectiveness and efficiency of the Bureau and report within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I so move.
Seconder. Amendment? Please go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Inolemun Naji, Kano East West Federal Constituency. I'm from Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, I believe that we should look at the content because this is a public document. The last paragraph where he said, cognizant that the increasing rate of procurement corruption, I don't think that we should use that word corruption, procurement corruption. We can use irregularities instead of corruption, because this is a public document. Please, I so move, Mr.
I agree with you. We are not a court of law. If it has been passed and adjudged by a court of law, then we can now say it. But this is just a perception, an allegation. So would you want to rephrase that particular statement for records?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I align myself completely with my colleague and therefore amend prayer number 5 to read that also mandate the Committee on Public Procurement to conduct.
I think that's not where you're reading.
Sorry.
The last paragraph before your prayers.
Okay.
Cognizance that the increasing rate of procurement corruption.
Okay.
Since we cannot legally establish that it is happening,
yes.
so
Okay.
the use of it direct is
Yes, sir.
what is not proper.
It goes thus. Cognizant that the increasing rates of procurement irregularities in the public sector necessitates urgent measures for effective oversight to ensure value for money, transparency, competitiveness, and professionalism. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Okay. So any seconder to this correction? Honorable Maki. Pardon?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You moved it, right? So please go ahead.
Huh?
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Inolemun Naji, Kano East West Federal Constituency. I'm from Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my colleague. When I read them, I so second.
Well, I will put the question, but I want to be guided according to whether correction on the body of the motion requires seconding or whatever. I think
Mr. Speaker, in line with the amendment, I also second.
Okay, well, it's just a correction of a statement which I believe does not require seconding. We just second, but the body of the prayers, if there is, that's where we need to actually move for the amendment to be seconded. So I think that is the position of our rules. There is no motion there, it's just correction of a statement, which does not require, I believe, anyone to propose or second? I think so. But we'll look at the books and see if we're right or wrong. So we go to the amendment on the prayers. Your contribution will be noted and documented.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Amendment, please.
Thank you, my dear Speaker. I still remain Clement Jimbo, representing Abak Etmekbika Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, since the subject of this motion is requesting for budgetary review for the agency in question, I would like to amend the last prayers to include Committee on National Planning and Economic Development. Thank you.
Any seconder to this? Any seconder? Hello? Is it a point of order or you want to? Guidance. Please go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, my name is Ahmed Idris. I represent Wase Federal Constituency, Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, respected colleague, this motion is very peculiar to the agency and the duties assigned to them by the Act of the National Assembly, and I guess also by the House rules. And that's why, after critical analysis of his own duty, he's coming before the House, which is normal, to request the House to intervene for this particular ministry and agency. It will be out of, will I say, the order to now include other agencies that have not been examined in the same manner. Otherwise, the side and the focus of the agency in question will be lost, sir. I want to beg that my brother step down his own amendment and to come, if he deems his fit, with another motion that the House should now take a look at it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, but what I thought he was trying to do is that since he is talking about budgetary review of the budget of procurement, he is trying to say, okay, there are some other related agencies that are also responsible for budgetary processes of the House. So I think in that order, he is not totally wrong, but it is up to us to agree whether beside appropriation, any other related committee of the House that has something to do with the budget can be included in this. So do you want to still maintain that the committee should be included?
Thank you, my Speaker. Going by our standing orders, page 208 gives us that responsibility, that very committee, National Planning and Economic Development, that responsibility to oversight the Ministry of National Planning and Budget, which budget office is included. So any committee or agencies of government that requires the
Are
review,
we talking about budget office here or public procurement bureau?
no,
Did you look at it?
The budget office of the Federation is under the oversight of National Planning and Economic Development, which is a standing committee of the House.
So do you still maintain that you want us to get a seconder? You are completely right. I'm not saying that what you have proposed is wrong.
Yes, let's get a seconder, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, any seconder to this amendment? Yes, Honorable. Please go ahead.
My name is Paul Gowon Haruna. I represent Basa Dikina Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kogi State. I rise this afternoon to support the amendment proposed by the Deputy Chairman, National Planning and Economic Development Committee, Mr. Clement Jumbo. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. Honorable Shoba, can you second the main motion?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My distinguished colleagues, I rise to second this motion as ably amended by my colleagues. I so move.
Okay, let me give you the opportunity.
Okay, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the order 4, Order 4, I don't think it's required in this motion because prayer 4 is not required in this motion because it has been taken care of by the Order 20, Rule 116 of the Order Book. The committee has been given every leverage, every advantage, every opportunity to conduct oversight. So the committee doesn't need to come to the House to request the House to give it permission to conduct oversight. If you look at the Order 20, Rule 116, the jurisdictions of the committee has covered this prayer. So I don't think if we may need to allow this prayer, I think.
I agree with you totally.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Idem, it is your committee already, and you have already been empowered. So why are you requesting the House to give you permission to do what has already been given to you earlier?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. Mr. Speaker, you are right by your assertion, but from the experience, all the MDAs in the country derive their limits from the National Planning and the Budget Office before they bring the proposal to National Assembly. That's where they derive their limit from. I know that by the time the agency, that is BPP, brings the budget to us, we are going to do justice to it by looking at the budgets and their issues. But what we are asking for from this House is a kind of intervention from the House to reach out to the ports in which this budget...
You have already stated that under your prayer 3.
Yes, sir.
Your prayer 3 covers that one, so I don't think if there is a need for prayer 4.
Okay, prayer 4.
Because you are just repeating powers that have already been given to you.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Speaker. Let me look at prayer 4.
Do you see what we're talking about? You already said under your prayer 3, mandate the committees on public procurement and appropriation to follow up and ensure upward review of the budgetary budgetary allocation in subsequent budget estimates.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Speaker, I quite agree with you, and I hereby delete prayer 4.
So you are moving for the deletion?
Yes, I hereby move that prayer 4 be deleted, and I maintain prayer 1, 2, 3. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, any seconder to this? Honorable Sesi.
Thank you, my Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Sesi Oluwaseun Wingan, and I rise today to support that prayer 4 be deleted from the prayers of the motion as moved by my colleague. I so move.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Honorable Jimbo, can you recapture your own, because earlier on you relied on prayer 4. Since prayer 3 also captures the two committees, perhaps we can now you can now couch it to refer to prayer 3 rather than prayer 4, which has been deleted.
Okay, thank you very much, my wonderful speaker. As the House has guided, I think prayer 3 should now read, mandates the committees on public procurement, public procurement, appropriation, and national planning and economic development to follow up and ensure upward review. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, point of order, Honorable Halims.
Observations, sir. Honorable colleagues, I want to sincerely appreciate
Chairman House Committee on Public Procurement. By the standard, by our rules, and by the constitution of this House, I think as the chairman of the House Committee on Procurement, all this is appealing to the House to do for him today. They are already embedded in the House rules. As the chairman House Committee on this procurement, he can
Honorable
arrange...
Halims, we have discussed and agreed on that position. That
Yes.
is why prayer 4 was deleted.
Okay.
So what are you talking about? I thought you are bringing something new, other than what we have already agreed, and he has withdrawn.
It is assumed we are going about same thing all over and all over. And that is why I decided to come with this point of order.
Well, I don't know the opinion of other members, but I think beside the prayer 4, every other thing that he did is in order. It's in order. There is nothing to show that he has gone beyond his committee's mandate there. Thank you so much for the observation. So, Honorable Shoba, did you move?
Observation, sir.
Observation?
Yes, sir.
Who is, please go ahead. Honorable Anka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I personally, I'm trying to take perhaps a different view on this motion. And I think it's high time we take a stand when it comes to budgetary review. More so, the mover of the motion said, I think it's in paragraph 2, that this is a regulatory agency, policy and regulatory. So what connotes there is that there should be an element of revenue generation. You are talking of budgetary review.
Honorable Anka, the subject matter you are introducing has nothing to do with this motion. I don't think we can entertain such kind of discussions here.
Can you allow me to learn, sir?
No, I do not see the relevance between what you are saying and the subject matter on the ground. I cannot understand. We are in amendments. I thought you are amending something, but you are trying to contribute beyond the issue that we are discussing about. So if you have any issue with such kind of things, I think you should come by way of motion to direct or urge us to do what you think is expedient for the House, okay? So those in support of this motion as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Public Procurement, Appropriation, and National Planning for further legislative action. The eighth order of the day is a motion on devastating flood menace and resultant gully erosion in Isu, Njaba, Inquere, and Nwagele Federal Constituency of Imo State, standing in the name of Honorable Harrison Anozi Nwadike. Honorable Nwadike is hereby invited to move the motion.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Barrister Harrison Anozi Nwadike. I represent the good people of Isu, Njaba, Nkwere, Nwagele Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm a native of Isu clan in Imo State, and I rise this afternoon to move a motion relating to the devastating floods, menace, and resultant gully erosion in Isu, Njaba, Nkwere, Nwagele Federal Constituency, Imo State. The House notes the negative impact of flooding and gully erosion in Uba Isunjaba, Uburuekwe, Umunam, Amuju, Amiwo, Amucha, Okudo, Umuozu, Umuokora Ihebinowere, Umezikuku, and other locations in Isu, Njaba, Nkwere, Wangele Federal Constituency of Imo State. The House is aware that erosion has led to the loss of fertile topsoil, affecting farmers' livelihood and resulting in decreasing agricultural productivity. The House is worried that the devastating effect of the gully erosion has caused property destruction and compounded the integrity of subsoil of buildings, causing residents to evacuate without shelter due to fear of collapse, and hence the need for temporary shelter and relief materials. Also worried that the deteriorating condition of the roads poses severe safety and security risk to commuters, often resulting in fatal accidents and increased cases of kidnapping. The House is concerned that if remedial action is not taken during this rainy season, it may lead to heavy landslide with severe health issues, loss of human lives, and negative impact on agricultural productivity. Concerned that if the menace of this gully erosion is controlled, it shall bring succor and relief to the people of Isu, Njaba, Nkwere, Wangele Federal Constituency, especially families and communities directly affected by this gully erosion. The House resolves to, 1, urge the Ecological Fund Office and Federal Ministry of Environment to immediately commence remedial work of erosion control and land reclamation in Uba, Isunjaba, Uburuekwe, Okudo, Umuokora Ihebinowere, Umunam, Amuju Amiwo, Amucha, Umuezikuku, Umuozu, and other locations in Isu, Njaba, Nkwere, Wangele, Federal Constituency of Imo State. 2, the House urged the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to provide immediate relief materials to ameliorate the suffering of the affected people. 3, the House further urged the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, to capture the repair and reconstruction of failed roads in the 2025 budget estimates. And finally, mandate the Committee on Environment, Ecological Fund, and Niger Delta Development Commission to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move.
The Deputy Chairman Youth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ablaim Az Gorzo, member representing Gorzo Kabo Federal Constituency from Kano State. I rest to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Environment, Ecological Funds, and Niger Delta Development Commission for further legislative action. Honorable colleagues, we have two announcements. The first one is in respect of the constitution of ad hoc committee to monitor the construction of Abuja, Kaduna, Kano Federal Highway. And it's my pleasure to announce the following members as members of this committee. Honorable Aminu Jaji will be the chairman of the committee. Honorable Ahmed Idris Wase will be member. Honorable Sade Soli, member. Honorable Cyril Hart will be member. Honorable Professor Paul Namchi, member. Honorable Hassan Fulata, member. Honorable Usman Banye, member. Honorable Engineer Hussein, member. Honorable Ahmed Yinka Aluko, member. Honorable Bello Ambarura, member. Honorable Seni Jalo, member. Honorable Inu Agarba, member. Honorable Patrick Umo, member. Honorable Bashir Zubairu, member. The final announcement is with respect of two of our members who are celebrating their birthdays today. There's members, Honorable Laori Bitrus Kwamoti, member representing Demsa Numa Lamurde of Federal Constituency of Adamawa State. We also have Honorable Inna Bufe Chingwe Clara, representing Orumba North and South Federal Constituency of Anambra State. Please, if the two members are around, please can you rise for recognition of the members? Congratulations, happy birthday to you on behalf of the House. We'll be waiting for the cake for us to share with you. Thank you. You may sit down. The Leader of the House, please can you move for adjournment?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. Abdullah Ibrahim Halims is my name. I'm from Kogi State, and I represent the people of Ankpa Omala Federal Constituency. I rise to move that the House do adjourn to 22nd day of October, Tuesday next week, same time, same venue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do adjourn for today. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes should go while the nays should remain until Tuesday, 11 a.m. next week. Thank you.
Again,